But Beth, I got a call, and hear me out first. I got a call from a buddy of mine, younger gentleman, new wife. They're buying their first home, and he called me this week and said, man, we found a home. Hey everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and today's going to be a little different show. I got a call. Once again, I'm here with Beth Appleby. It's our real estate show. But Beth, I got a call, and hear me out first. I got a call from a buddy of mine, younger gentleman, new wife. They're buying their first home, and he called me this weekend and said, man, we found a home. We're meeting the realtor. And I said, who are you using as your realtor? Mm-hmm. And he said, well, we just called the number off the sign. And hear me out. And I said, because I want to make sure I'm right. And I said, great, where's it at? And I know the area that they were looking in. Mm-hmm. I said, what are they asking for it? And so I told him, I said, well, wait a minute. I said, you need to think about something. I said, and the only reason I know about this is because some of the real estate shows that we've done. You called the realtor that has it listed. And he said, yes. Who should have I called? I said, well, that's okay. But do you want her representing you as a buyer? Well, what's it matter? And I said, well, look at it this way. So the homeowner went out and found a realtor that is going to market the home the way they want to, is going to represent them the way they want to, that knows the market in the area the way they're supposed to, and they're going to look out for their best interest. Now, you've come in and say they find something wrong with the house, it may need caulking. From my understanding, she can't represent you and them. In fact, she can't do anything.
No advice or opinion.
Right. And I did some more reading after I talked to him. I said, because legally she can represent both parties, but she can't give them her opinion or her thoughts on it. So more or less, you're going to be doing the deal yourself, and you don't want that. He said, oh, and I said, look, in today's market, you want someone that knows the area, knows what they're going for, and knows how to negotiate, because that house may be listed at $225,000, but is it worth that? Well, he said, I think it is. And I said, okay, you think. But a realtor that's working for you is going to run comps. And they're going to tell you this house, and this house, which measures up to that house, is actually selling for 110.
Right.
Or, 210 or 195.
Right.
So, and with her representing both parties, she can't do that.
Well, she
might be able to do that.
She should be sharing her CMA.
Right.
Right. It gets really murky because it becomes, who are you representing and what are you sharing? And so you're not supposed, so if you're representing the seller and now you're going to represent the buyer, you're not supposed to give advice or opinion.
Right.
You can share the facts, okay? But then where do we draw the line? And so let's say you know that the seller is going to take less, but ethically you can't now tell the buyer the seller's going to take less.
Right.
Or you know the buyer needs a certain amount to close. You're not supposed to tell the seller, well, they're not, you gotta make this, you gotta take this deal because this is what they need, or we're not gonna make this. It's a very blurred line. And it's very easy to cross that line and not even realize you've done it. And then at the end of the day, now I'm just pasting paperwork.
What I told him was, I said, look, if she's an honest and good realtor and you talk to her and tell her, look, I would really like another realtor to represent me, even if it's in her office through the same broker, at least that realtor and that realtor aren't the same person, and this one's going to work harder so that to make you happy, and the seller want. I said, it's really a fine line there, and friendships could come into play. Do they have a good relationship? Maybe this is a third or fourth house they've sold for this seller. You're a new couple. They know you're anxious. Let's just make it happen. You know, this
Right.
is, and so not saying you'll be misled, but I think I would feel better because I want y'all, because they want to start a family. I want y'all to get your best representation, and
Absolutely.
especially if it was 3 years ago, it probably wouldn't have mattered because houses were going sight unseen and they were going quick. But at least in today's market, I said, houses aren't moving, and it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. You can get an honest, good price on a house, but you may have to negotiate unless the seller's in a bind.
Yeah.
You know, and so my question to you is, you've listed a house for someone, and I drive up and I look at that house and I call you.
Right.
And I say, yes, ma'am, we're sitting in front of 1825 Boogie Road here.
Yeah.
You've got a house listed. It's a one story. We really like it. Could you give me some information on it?
What am I going to do?
What do you do?
So the first thing I'm going to ask is, are you working with an agent?
Okay.
And you're going to say, no, I don't have an agent. And I say, great. I'm the listing agent, so I work for the seller.
Mm-hmm.
Let me help you find an agent. I can get you into the house. And if you're like, well, I'm here, I don't have an agent, blah, blah, I'm like, okay, I'll unlock the door and let you get into the house. Because you want to see the house.
Right.
Right? But I'm going to tell you again and again and again that I work for the seller. Let me help you get an agent. I know a few agents. And at that point, they usually say to me, oh, well, my sister has an agent, or my mom has an agent, but I really I'm here right now. Great.
They want to see the house.
They want to see the house. Absolutely. Let's look at the house.
Okay.
The difference is I'm going to show them the house. I'm not going to show them the house the way I would if they were my buyer client. Right. I'm going to literally unlock the door. I'm going to hand them a little flyer about the house, the square footage, the year it was built, some of its features. Just a generic little flyer.
Right.
I'm going to let them walk through the house.
Okay.
And then again, I'm going to reiterate. The other thing I'm going to give them is this information about broker services, which is a paper that the state of Texas requires us to give. A one-page paper, and it identifies who are agents and what agent responsibilities are. And it has contact information at the bottom. Super important because it's going to remind you who's playing what role.
So there's no law out there that says you can't represent.
You can represent. No, there's no law that says you can't represent both sides. You can represent both sides.
Okay. Do certain brokers or realtors maybe say, I don't do that?
It boils down to preference.
Is it?
It does. So you can work both sides. There are parameters under which if you're working both sides, you have to be very honest from the start. You have to sign a form saying this is intermediary, meaning I'm representing both sides. And then there's that little no advice or opinion clause. So,
to me,
that's what you're paying for.
I know.
You're paying for the advice and opinion.
That realtor and whether it's that realtor's making her money or his money or their money from the seller, and the other one typically anyway. How can you work honestly for both sides?
You really, I don't know. I've been doing this for 10 years. I did it once and I'll never do it again because I had to keep checking myself and going, wait a minute.
So when someone calls you, typically you refer them either to another Ebby Holiday realtor or one
somebody
that's
in the area.
Because there is an area in the rules and regulations, I'm going to call it, for realtors that says you have to know the area.
You have to know the area.
You know, and that's part of what's sort of funny down here is every once in a while a realtor sign will pop up that I don't recognize, and I'll type it in, on my phone or the computer in my truck, and it's from Dallas or San Antonio or wherever.
Well, people think that about my Ebby Holiday sign. Yeah. Because they don't realize I'm down here.
Right.
Right. And my managing broker, Sherry Smith from my office, she has been down here and she's been coming down, and she and I are doing some classes down here together, and making this more our area, learning the area, and that's part of your responsibility as a
Right,
realtor.
right.
And I think you and I are going to talk in another show some of the areas I do, and we're going to talk about some of
Right.
the areas I absolutely do not do because I
So-
don't know the area.
But if, you know, right now the housing market is a buyer's market. It hasn't been more of a buyer's market in years. In fact, probably as long as I've been doing Bolivar Live that I know of, it hasn't been a buyer's market like this. And so you want the best representation you can get for whether you're selling your home or you're buying a home. And so it doesn't matter if your best friend is listing that home and they say, hey, I just listed home, you ought to look at it. Get someone to represent you separate, because in the long run it could save a friendship.
It could save a friendship.
You know,
it could save a lot of things. It's going to save you some money too.
Right,
It's going to save you a lot of money.
Well, we do these shows every Monday evening. If you don't see it one Monday, you can go back to our YouTube channel and look through the weeks and catch up on all of them. I'm excited about 2026. We've got some things we're working on and some different shows. And next week, we're going to cover who works where and when. And so make sure you tune in next week. I'm David with Bolivar Live with Beth Appleby with Abby Holiday Realtors. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye. Video equipment is sponsored by Crystal Beach Decor and More, located at 1959 Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas, and Beachy Beatnik Boutique and Jewelry, located at 970 Surfside and Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas. Thank you to these two businesses for being our 2025 video equipment sponsor for Bolivar Live.